And we're here with Danny Jugan. Jugan, is that the correct way to say it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Danny Jugan, the president and lead designer for Axis Games. And, he's here to tell us about Axis Football 2015. And it looks like a really cool game. And it's on the PC platform, which has really been starving for some football. And he's brought that there. So we have him here. We're really excited to speak with him and to tell us, myself and Daniel Basil is here to, kind of tell us a little bit about the game.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. And we're just really excited to get the game out. It's something that we've been working on for quite a few years now. We first did a Flash version back in 2010, and it was received really well. It was top-down 2D, and we introduced some mechanics that were kind of new to the football genre. And then a couple years ago, we decided to make the transition over to Unity and go into full 3D. And so we carried the as well, and it's been received really well.
Awesome, awesome. What's your personal your gaming background, kind of like your history and what kind of games do you enjoy to play?
I actually have a kind of an interesting mix. I enjoy sports games, obviously, but I also really enjoy RPGs. Kind of an odd mix, but
Not so
most of
much
the
with the
game.
way the way CFM is. It's kind of a little bit of that in there, right?
True, true, very true. But yeah, a lot of the games that we do is either sports based or RPG. It's kind
Aspect to the game as well, um, with the whole my career and stuff like that. So it's definitely there's a lot of people that seem to enjoy both genres. Um, what inspired you to become a game designer? Like when and how did you start?
I started my senior year in high school. I took
Oh,
a programming class and really wanted to make games. I love to create things and kind of the idea of that, you open up a brand new program, start a new project, all about for me. But I started way back in high school, picked up a book and just read it and said I want to make games. So I did
wow,
what I needed to learn.
that's impressive. Yeah, for some that would be a daunting task. The blank screen.
As
Definitely it takes a certain kind. I mean, you
as
gotta have a
someone who
vision.
actually was a comp sci major, I salute you because I found out the opposite that it was not for me, and then I did not want to go in that direction. But we're happy you did, or we wouldn't have the Axis football right here today. So God bless the game. So how did the kind of the idea of saying go from your love of gaming, I'm sorry, your love of programming, and then RPGs, and just say what made you just say, hey, let's actually make a football game? I mean, that's like a huge undertaking, to get to that point.
Well, certainly, and I started small, and kind of what I did was the very first football game I made was called flag football, and it's awful. Don't even look it up. It's on the site, but it was like 7-on-7, and awful was about the best word you can use. Kind of back when in the 90s you had some options besides Madden, but they kind of died off as the years went on. And I just noticed an opportunity and said, hey, it'd be great if we could have some different choices out there. And so I decided to make a football game.
Very nice. What would you say sets Axis Football 2015 apart from its console counterpart? And I know you have a unique control or passing.
Separates us. We really wanted to take advantage of the fact that you've got a mouse and keyboard. And when you play Madden or you play kind of the older football games, you drop back for a pass and you see receivers open, and you pretty much decide where you want to throw the ball based off of a letter or a button popping up over the receiver's head, and you click that button and you just hope the ball goes where you want it to. And that's not really the level of control that we think players should have when they play a football game. And so what we designed was kind of an aimed passing system. So if you've seen when you drop back for a pass, you're going to see a circle on the field, and the circle is completely controlled by the mouse. And where the circle is where the ball will be thrown when you click. And the size of the circle changes as you move around. And so the larger the circle, the less accurate the pass is going to be. So if you try to throw across your body or the quarterback is running, the circle is going to be larger. But if you're standing still, the circle is going to be smaller. So there's a certain element of realism there. They always say if you're running across the field, don't throw across your body because it's going to be really inaccurate, and the same is true for the game. Different kind of plays than you can in other football games. You simply can't run certain pass routes or certain plays, namely like stop routes, are very difficult to pull off in other football games. And kind of throwing your receiver open is also very difficult. If your receiver is running along a particular route, there's really no way to say, hey, I want you to stop and run the other way if that's not in the play. But with this aimed passing, you can throw the ball there and the receiver is automatically going to adjust. And that adds for a lot of fun, a lot of strategy, and just increased control, which is, kind of what we were going for. And the field has been really supportive. Players really like it.
Definitely.
It's very interesting that you bring that up. The throwing wide receivers open because myself, I've been playing football games since basically the beginning. Even before 10-yard fight on the NES. I'm talking about back to electric football when you put that on the table and it's
Yes, yes.
So I'm showing my age a little bit here, but I've been playing it from the beginning since there was any sort of I'm talking about like paper clip, making the paper footballs, kicking them through people's hands. I've been playing it from the beginning, so I've kind of seen it in or whatever sports game, in 2005 or 2015 or something, so I throwing the wide receivers open. Like I can only remember one game that really allowed you to do that, and it was quarterback club.
I
And
remember that.
quarterback club actually allowed you to throw to a spot, not just lead to not just like how some other games now how you can push in a direction and lead like oh no, you could throw to the spot, and it was the wide receiver's job to run the route and get to that spot. And I can't think of any other game that something.
It's tough to pull off on the console, which is why we wanted to really take advantage of the fact that we were designing this game specifically for the PC.
Very, very cool. That's one of the biggest things I'm excited for in playing this game. I mean, really, that adds a whole nother, aspect of realism there. I mean, you can really control where you want to throw the ball. That's huge. Because, I mean, God knows I've been so frustrated trying to make the receiver do one thing and it's just not doing it on other games. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, because before the receiver makes a break, before now the lesser or the average quarterbacks they have to see the receiver open before they throw it, which leads to
Right.
more interceptions and them not being a great quarterback. But if you see the great quarterbacks, or especially like somebody like a Drew Brees who doesn't have the cannon for the arm, but he does have the ability to anticipate throws and things like that, like those are the type of things that are totally missing from other football games. So it's really cool you have that in there. Or it's just gonna stick to just for PC for now.
We looked at mobile options. Right now, we're focusing on PC. We have talked a little bit about doing a tablet version of this. We're a little bit concerned about performance with so many moving parts and that sort of thing. But it is something that we've talked about. The feedback that we've gotten so far, players really like the game, but they'd like more features. A lot of people said they want franchise mode and that sort of thing. So we have some internal discussions on whether we're going to kind of expand the platform or whether we're going to focus on the PC and add more features as we go into Access Football 2016 and beyond.
How large is the team that's working on the game?
It's mostly me that does the development. I've got a couple guys that kind of help out with some of the audio or the kind of helping design some parts of the game, but I do all of the programming.
Background or grunts or anything like that? Trash talk? Just hit me up. I'm totally there. I'll do it free of charge.
Awesome, definitely.
Touching back on the last point there. Now I read that it will at launch it'll be compatible with the Xbox 360 controller. Is that right?
Yes, that's actually,
Okay.
I'm sitting with two of the controllers in front of me right now. That's actually something that I'm getting or I'm finishing up right now, we're really doing the best we can to make this, and we want to make it accessible for the people that really just want to use a controller. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the dual analog sticks as the primary controllers. The left one's going to control the player, and the right one's going to control that passing circle that I mentioned earlier. That's still going to give them control over it, but the main benefit that adding controller support is going to give us is that we're going to be able to do local multiplayer. So if you want to sit down with your friend, grab two controllers, maybe one person uses the mouse and keyboard, the other person uses a controller, you both have controllers, you'll be able to.
Very cool. Now, how would you see all these hybrid PCs pop up, tablet P slash laptop. How would it perform on something like a Surface Pro, for instance? Would you recommend using it with a mouse still, or could you, would I know the mouse pad isn't ideal to use because I'm sure it's hard to cover a lot of ground on the field. It's probably much more intuitive with an actual mouse. Um, would it be compatible with the touch screen?
Slowly on those kind of computers. But as far as like the actual hardware, I suggest avoiding like a mouse or a trackpad that you use with your
Right.
finger because it's hard to aim. But with a touch screen, you can simply touch on the field where you want to throw the ball, which is kind of cool in my opinion. That's the direction
Very.
we were kind of talking about with the tablets and the mobile devices. Um, so yes to the hybrids where you can touch the screen, but I would say if you're going to go with like a straight laptop, make sure you have a mouse that you can plug in.
The local multiplayer, people take it for granted, but I mean, it's almost like an old aging dinosaur. When was the last time you kind of sat down and actually played a sports game with a friend? I mean, online is so big now. I actually have friends that I know that I live not too far from me that they won't even play me in person. They will only say, "I'll play you online."
Wow.
Just because of the trash talk or the looks, or some you can intimidate somebody in one on one. You can really throw some friends who won't even play in person, which is so funny. But that used to be how we all grew up in games. There was no online, so if you wanted to play somebody in the game, you had to be in the seat right next to them.
Absolutely. Well, we looked at doing um, online multiplayer, but it's not something that we're going to have time to implement before the July 15th release. It's something that we would love to add, and we know players would really like it, but we have to rewrite a lot of code in order to do that because the game.
A great addition. So you were saying, touching about a little bit on the some of the passing mechanics with the game and how you can pass to a specific location, and kind of dictate those things. So are those passes how accurate they are? Is it based on some like a rating system, or unfortunately we haven't had to get a chance to really dive into the game and test the game yet. So just kind of going off, your thoughts on is it like ratings, like each player rating, or just kind of everyone has the same and it's based on just the control of the individual player.
That's that sort of thing. Every player in the game, and there's 30 players on each team with 32 teams. And so each of the quarterbacks has their own accuracy rating as well. So if you play with a quarterback that is more accurate, his circles are going to be smaller than someone that's less accurate overall. And but there is absolutely the skill of the player involved in that as well. And it's not just how accurate are you with your mouse, but it's the mechanics of playing quarterback. So a lot of times what people get in the habit of, is going to be bigger. And the anywhere inside of that circle is where the ball could actually be thrown. And so I really wanted to try and focus on sound quarterback mechanics. So you drop back for a pass. If you need to move to dodge a rusher or whatever, go for it. But otherwise, you should try and stand still if you're going to want to throw an accurate pass.
So how hard was it to kind of balance that, balancing the rating system versus the skill of the individual player there, and kind of the balancing aspect of the gameplay.
And kind of the worst quarterback in the league. But at the same time, we wanted a skilled player to still be able to do really well with the worst quarterback. And so it took a lot of play testing, a lot of balancing, just to tweaking the numbers until we got to a place where we felt like it was a good enough mix.
Oh, great, great.
So there will be 32 teams at all, or
It's definitely something we're looking at. We don't have that feature built in right now. We know that the modding community is um, strong out there, and they like to kind of edit their games, or put in their local high school teams or whatever, or even sub in NFL teams. Obviously, we are a very, very, very small team, so purchasing NFL licenses is not an option. So we had to cleverly come up with names for the teams.
I'm sure that one of them.
Sure.
So someone is very upset right now.
okay. Why don't you tell us when the game will release, where we can find it, how we can connect with you, for our listeners and viewers out there.
Absolutely. So the game is going to release on July 15th. You'll be able to get it on Steam or on our website. Steam is probably going to be the best choice. And the Steam page is up right now. So if you just open up Steam and you search Axis Football, it's facebook.com/Axis Games. Or you can go to our website, which is axisgamesonline.com. And there's some contact information on there if you want to send me a direct email. But we try to respond to everyone that posts something on Facebook or emails. We try to get to you within a day or two because we really value player feedback. They've really helped this game come along.
It's very cool, man. I really I love what you're doing. I'm very excited for this game.
To updates, online multiplayer possibly, and other things that that need more time for development. What other things do you see kind of in the future, or just in general? What direction do you see the game going in and growing from this point?
We have a ton of options. Definitely online multiplayer is one of the things that we want to add. Another big target item on our list, and kind of a combination of the multiplayer, but we also want to add franchise mode. Right now we've got a season mode in there right now, and that's something that in online multiplayer is what we're looking at for the kind of the headline features for the 2016 version. Along with franchise mode, we want to incorporate a create your own player aspect so that you can just have a better sense of identity or progression as you play through the various seasons. And then there's a lot of graphical and gameplay features that we'd like to add. I think unfortunately, the only main competition for this game that's really polished, that looks great and plays great. And so each year we want to expand on what we have and what we can offer players because, while Madden does a great job, we feel like we can do things that they can't, just for the fact that we are building a different game. We're building a game that is for a slightly different audience. And so we want to continue to raise the bar as far as what our game offers. Just little things like animations, making sure they look right, making sure players
It really opens up to the different things you can kind of do development wise. You can really take a lot more chances and gambles that an established franchise like Madden really can't. Where there's so many different technology stuff out there. You can even jump on I know the big one is the like 3D helmets and stuff like that. Now they're coming out. The virtual reality is that's even I've seen so much feedback a lot of times from people just itching to put on a VR helmet and play a quarterback, or something like that. So I've restrictions as a console game.
Yeah, sky's the limit.
And you're absolutely right. I've got an Oculus Rift in my office,
Nice.
and that was one of the things I'm looking at my Access Football 2016 features list, and that's one of the things we
Wow.
have on there.
Already.
Um,
Wow.
and so, and one of the nice things is, we use Unity to build the game, and Unity's got some pretty decent support for adding an Oculus, and we think being able to strap that thing on, and we've put it on and messed around with it goes, that's definitely something that we would gonna stick in the next version, or hopefully even an update to this one if it sells well.
There's a tease I that I'm sure a lot of people will be excited to hear it.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm thinking more of Axis Football 2017 for he's already talking about an update with the current one. That's very impressive. Mike, you said you fortunately you weren't gonna make it E3 this year. What kind of things are you looking forward towards as a gamer coming up with E3 this year?
I've actually, I don't know if they're going to announce it much, but I read a little bit about Joe Montana football. I believe it's coming out 2016. Um, I'll be interested to see what kind of how they kind of market it and how they want to compete with Madden. Um, that's kind of
About it yet. It's kind of the big secret out there.
Yeah, and it's really another game that in some form or fashion won't have might well no one knows for sure, but some people are saying they might have the license, some people are saying they won't, but just how how the game deals with that, not having a license, and you've shown that you can make a great football game and and possibly be successful without an NFL license. So that's really going.
All right, Danny. Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah,
We really look forward to this game, and I personally I can't wait to play it here on my Surface Pro. I just got this thing, and now that you said it's compatible with the touchscreen, I really am excited to play it and be able to lead my receivers for once.
yeah, we're definitely gonna check it out, and we hopefully we get some time with it. We're trying to squeeze it in for E3. We can hopefully get a review out and put on the site and everything.
game once you play it. Just looking forward to it.